Ezenwa and Eze were two powerful and wealthy businessmen who had been friends for years. They shared a bond so deep that they made an agreement years ago. Ezenwa's son, Obinna, would marry one of Ize's daughters when they were grown. This arrangement, they believed, would strengthen their family's legacies. Ezenwa ensured his son had the best education, sending him abroad to study with the hope that he would return to take over the family enterprise. Meanwhile, Eze's three daughters, Amaka, Ifeoma, and Adaora, studied abroad as well, but returned home to manage Eze's thriving fashion empire. Amaka, the eldest daughter, became the CEO, overseeing the company with an iron fist. Ifeoma, the second daughter, managed the design department, ensuring the company maintained its cutting edge appeal. Adaora, the youngest, lived a carefree life. She refused to work, preferring to rely on her family's wealth and her sister's hard work. Despite their professional roles, the daughters were known for their rudeness and disdain for those they deemed beneath their status. When Obinna returned from his studies, his father pressured him to marry one of Izi's daughters, reminding him of the agreement. However, Obinna, pragmatic and independent, wanted to approach this arrangement on his own terms. By chance, Amaka, in a fit of anger, fired her driver for recklessness. Her tight schedule demanded an immediate replacement, and she hastily hired Obinna, unaware of his identity. To her, he was just another driver who needed to follow orders. For Obinna, this was a golden opportunity. He took the job, hoping to use it as a way to get closer to the daughters and evaluate them for himself. Ezzy soon noticed that Obinna was not spending time with his daughters as expected. Confused and upset, he confronted Ezenwa, asking why his son had not made any progress. Ezenwa, surprised by the accusation, questioned Obinna, who explained his undercover plan to get closer to the daughters. Initially, Ezenwa disapproved, believing such work was beneath his son's status. However, seeing his son's determination, he eventually gave his blessing. Amaka treated him terribly. Seeing him as inferior, she backed orders, sent him on errands outside his job description, and insulted him regularly. Her behavior reflected the family's shared arrogance and disdain for those they considered beneath them. When she didn't need him, she passed him off to Ifeoma. Soon he became the family driver, attending to the whims of Amaka, Ifeoma, Eze, and even Adaora, who would send him on frivolous errands. Despite the demanding workload, his pay remained the same as a regular driver's, far below what he deserved. Feeling more frustrated than ever, Obina sought solace at a nearby mini supermarket. There, he met Nneka, a smart, beautiful young woman working at the store due to the lack of job opportunities. Nneka's intelligence, kindness, and comforting nature immediately drew him in. She listened to his frustrations about the mistreatment he endured, offering advice and motivation. Their conversations became a source of relief for him, and over time, their bond deepened. What started as casual chats turned into meaningful exchanges, and they both began to fill the voids of loneliness in their lives. Slowly but surely, he found himself falling for her. One evening, Adaora instructed Obinna to take her to a hotel, claiming she was attending a party. Upon arrival, instead of heading to an event, she checked into a room and asked Obinna to bring in her bags. As soon as he stepped inside, she locked the door behind him. You're quite handsome for a driver, she purred, stepping closer. Obina's heart pounded. Miss Adaora, I. Relax, she interrupted, running a manicured finger down his chest. I know you want this too. Obina immediately stepped back, his mind racing. I respect you, and I can't do this. he said firmly, reaching for the door handle. Adaora pouted. No one rejects me, she muttered angrily. Without another word, Obinna yanked the door open and bolted out of the room. He rushed down the hallway, his heart hammering, and drove away in panic. The next morning, his worst fears came true. Adaora accused him of stealing from her and even falsely claimed he had tried to assault her. Her father, Eze, furious and unwilling to listen to Obinna's side of the story, had him arrested. Obinna spent a harrowing night in a police cell before he was allowed a phone call. With no other option, he called his father. Ezenwa arrived at the station, his face grim. What happened? Obinna recounted the entire incident, his voice shaking with frustration. Ezenwa listened in silence before turning to the officers. My son is innocent, he declared. I want him released immediately. After much persuasion and Ezenwa pulling his influence, Obinna was finally released. As they drove home, Ezenwa sighed. This is beyond what I imagined, he admitted. Are you sure you want to continue this? Obinna clenched his fists. I need to see this through. After enduring constant mistreatment and testing the daughters' characters, Obinna made a decision. He would not marry any of Eze's daughters. Their arrogance and lack of respect had convinced him they were not suitable partners. When Eze learned of this decision, he was furious and confronted Ezenwa. But when Ezenwa introduced his son and Eze realized the humiliation he had suffered at the hands of his daughters, shame washed over him. He apologized profusely and even begged Obinna to reconsider, acknowledging his daughter's flaws. However, Obinna stood firm. He had already made up his mind to pursue his love for Nneka, the woman who had shown him kindness, respect, and understanding. Eze was shocked to hear about the extent of his daughter's mistreatment of Obinna. Realizing they were unworthy of him, Eze supported the young man's decision to follow his heart. In the end, both fathers agreed to respect his choice, and Obinna embraced a future with Nneka, a woman who valued him for who he truly was.